Anger and resentment are common responses to growing up with emotionally immature parents. These feelings arise when a child repeatedly experiences misunderstanding, dismissal, invalidation, neglect, or emotional instability. When a parent is self-focused, volatile, and unable to repair harm, children often feel unseen and unsafe. Damaging experiences accumulate, and anger and resentment emerge as a signal that something is unjust or harmful in the environment. These emotions are frequently seen as moral failures, which is a misunderstanding. Emotions don't have moral value, they are information, they're signals. Anger is protective, it indicates crossed boundaries or unmet needs. Resentment builds when harmful experiences are repeated without acknowledgement or an attempt to repair the harm. These feelings are not evidence that something is wrong with you. They are evidence that something happened to your system to the point that it had to respond. Children are biologically wired to attach to their parents. They do not start out distancing. They seek connection. It typically takes a long pattern of inconsistency, harm, and emotional instability for that bond to weaken. By the time anger and resentment become clear, they reflect years of experience, not an isolated incident. Recognizing why feelings develop can shift your focus from why do I feel this way to what led to this. Many people carry the unspoken belief that they must maintain closeness with family no matter the cost. But once you become aware that a dynamic is harming you, you do not have to interact with it in the same manner. It does not matter what label society has placed on the relationship. Harm is harm. Awareness changes responsibility. Continuing without boundaries is self-abandonment. Now, I'm not saying that anger and resentment should take over. They are signals, not places to stay. But we shouldn't feel bad about having these feelings. We cannot control what emotions we feel. When we experience uncomfortable emotions, it's important to acknowledge them without judgment. You're not trying to rationalize them away and tell yourself that you're not supposed to have the feelings. You instead are trying to process why you have those feelings. We have to process our feelings to let them go. We can sit with them during meditation, out in nature. You can journal them. You can literally write them down and set them on fire. But you got to get them out. The more that we try to hold in, the more risk there is for our emotions to become all-consuming. The goal is not to erase your feelings, but to let them do their job, to be the information that helps you choose a different path going forward. Anger and resentment themselves can change as you go through a healing process. What was once very sharp and reactive anger can turn into clarity or determination, and resentment can turn into protective boundaries and healthy caution. There will be ups and downs. Triggers can come out of nowhere unexpectedly. Old patterns can still emerge sometimes. Fluctuation is normal and part of integrating emotions. Anger and resentment are not the end of the story. They're part of seeing clearly, separating from harmful patterns, and building a stable internal ground that isn't dependent on someone else's limitations and expectations. Have a good day.